On the Talkback Show, on the radio, or whatever audiovisual device you choose to use. Welcome to the GBC podcast, where we talk about the Packers and our hometown of Green Bay. We are the official podcast of the Lot 1 Tailgate Party, which is at Lambeau Field every home game. This is episode 114, created September 15th, 2025. I'm John. I'm in Appleton, Wisconsin. Along with me, Jeff in Minnesota, and Neil on the East Coast. Say hello, gentlemen, and tell us what you're drinking.
Hello, everyone. We saw some aliens on the field, and I praised them as if I were in church. I'm having a Tired Hands Alien Church IPA.
Good evening, gentlemen. Tonight, I'm having a new flavor of Founders KBS, Iced Latte.
All right, and I had to finish off that bottle of Amaretto from the other week, so I've got an Amaretto Sour with me for tonight. You can find us on YouTube and Twitter at Green Bay Chat and Facebook at the GBC Podcast Green Bay Chat. And just the audio is available on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify by searching for Green Bay Chat. Well, tonight we're going to talk about that great whiteout victory Thursday night in Green Bay. And yeah, we did some tailgating in Green Bay as well. And what's up next? Hello, Cleveland. That's what's up next. But taking a look at just these first two games, if you like consistency, you're going to love what you get out of these Green Bay Packers, correct? 27 points in each game, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown in each game, a pair of field goals in each game. Jeff, 4 sacks in each game puts them on pace to have 68 sacks for the season. That number is crazy.
That's crazy, John. That's crazy.
It's very crazy.
They just need to add 1/17 of a sack more per game, and they'll get 69, though.
Nice. Neil, very good. Way to get on that. Neil, that would be an incredible number, and we love this defense. But, Neil, you're wearing your Jordan Love jersey, so I think I know where you want to go with this. Let's talk about the consistency of that offense. Again, 27 points, a 27-18 victory in the whiteout Thursday night, national TV. This is a statement game for the Green Bay Packers.
We were worried about the Packers starting games slow. Well, guess what? That is the opposite of what happened. In that first quarter against the Commanders, 151 yards for the Packers to 11 for the Commanders. Whole first half, 274 to 82. First quarter, 7 first downs for the Packers, 0 for the Commanders. That is as dominating a way to start a game as you can possibly get.
So, Neil, what made this so impressive? Why do you think they're starting out so fast, and how are they doing this?
Jordan Love has been a wizard. He has really made huge plays on third downs throughout the first 2 games of this season. And that first drive, big plays to Wicks twice in a row for first downs. We've got 2 big plays to Kraft, including a 57-yard on the second drive, and big plays to Wicks, Dobbs, and Kraft on that fourth drive that led to a touchdown. But big picture, we had a touchdown drive that was 96 yards and a touchdown drive that was 92 yards in that first half. They just took the ball and rammed it right down the Commanders' throats.
But they weren't really running the ball. They didn't have a lot of success. It was all Jordan Love.
It was a beautiful play from Jordan Love. 214 yards and a touchdown for Jordan Love in that first half. 128 yards for Jordan Love in the first quarter. He was slinging the ball, and it was after Jacobs was not succeeding on first down. I'll talk more about that later, but it was Jordan Love doing everything on the offensive side. But again, it wasn't just the offense.
And again, Neil, as I mentioned, the defense is solid. There's 4 sacks in the game on that defense, but you already even mentioned it. It's not just the sacks. It's how well this defense plays as a unit and how well they stopped the Washington offense.
First 2 Commanders drives were 3-and-outs. You cannot play better defense on your first 2 drives than 2 consecutive 3-and-outs.
And that gets not only the crowd energized, but also the offense energized too. They're feeding off of each other. And with somebody as dangerous as Jaden Daniels, to just completely shut him down like that, that's really a credit to the defense here.
Jeff, I'm hoping it came across on the television. You talk about the crowd being energized. The crowd was energized from the introductions, even though they introduced the offense first. This whiteout, the fans showed up in mass, in white. They dimmed the lights. Everybody's using the flashlight on their phones. So you've got the lights, the white, the team introductions is bonkers. Then the coin toss at the beginning. Washington won the toss. They deferred. And the crowd was ecstatic that Green Bay was getting the ball first, thinking back to just 4 days earlier, how well this team played on that opening drive. They're like, all right, great, let's get another opening drive. Let's get into it. And then there's that national anthem. My goodness. On September 11th, this national anthem was moving. The 4 F-35s that flew over for the flyover, this crowd was ready to go from before the kickoff, before the whistle blew. And so there's no way that the team was going to not feel that energy. And it definitely shows up. And I, like I said, I hope it came across for you guys on television.
It did, John. That flyover coming through, that was amazing. I mean, anytime you get 4 fighter jets coming over, I mean, this was not the refueling plane, right? This is the real deal.
Oh, no. And, the great thing about this is those guys continued to fly south, and they flew over Appleton. Lots of people posting on like the neighborhood chats in Appleton. What's that noise? What's that noise? No, those 4 planes, they flew over the valley noticed as well.
Well, John, the team was definitely noticed on television. The commentator, they like the Packers. Let's face it. Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit, I think they like the Packers in this game.
Everybody likes a winner, Jeff. You're playing well. Yes, they're going to like you.
And Tucker Kraft continues to take a further step up. 89 yards for Tucker Kraft in just the first half. He also gets his first 100-yard game overall, but 89 yards for Tucker Kraft. He is just not going to be denied. And I think as a Packers fan, right, there's so much attention on what this defense is doing, but this offense is doing something really special as well.
Neil, those 89 yards, that's 3 catches. He had his breakout game on national TV. We've all known this. We've been waiting for this. And we got it Thursday night from Tucker Kraft.
Yeah, there's Yak. They talk about Yak yards after the catch. We're going to call it CAC, K-A-C, Kraft after the catch, because he is just something special with that ball after the catch.
Or you could just go to something that's a better acronym like KFC, and he's just sending chicken fucking everywhere because it's Kraft fucking catches. It's beautiful.
Or Kraft and cheese is the other one that people have been saying. We get some Kraft and cheese after he catches that ball.
He's just looking to run somebody over. That's all he's doing, and it's serving him well.
But going back to that defense, right? They really put a number on Jaden Daniels. They made sure that he was afraid. Jaden Daniels in the entire first half had 49 passing yards. Their rushing game, if you look at the entire game, the Commanders running backs had 34 rushing yards on 12 rushes. Daniels had a few yards on top of that. So you say, wow, they had 51 yards rushing. Ooh, 51 yards. Like if we're holding teams to 50 yards, as we did with Detroit as well, that defense is really doing something special as far as containing their ability to run the ball and trying to make the team one-dimensional.
But what's more impressive, Jaden Daniels is not a pocket passer. He is looking to run. And we were wondering, can we contain Jaden Daniels? Because Goff, he sat back there. He was prey for Micah Parsons. Whereas Daniels was moving around a lot, and we kept him in front of us. The linebackers were very cognizant of where he was at all times. Their eyes were in the backfield, and he just had nowhere to go.
So many short passes in the first half in addition to a small number of running yards. What else can you say about this defense? I guess we haven't talked about Keyshawn Nixon. 5 passes defense for Keyshawn Nixon, right? Everywhere on that defense, the players were making plays.
And I think as a defensive back, they were sitting on the routes because they know that Daniels has got a fast clock. He's got to get the ball out. So they can sort of sit on the route. So they're not worried about somebody blowing past them because Daniels isn't going to have 4, 5, 6 seconds to throw the ball. So therefore, they're sitting on the routes, but 5 passes defensed. That's amazing. I mean, that's
5 just by Nixon, 8 passes defense total, 12 quarterback hits total in the game, 3 tackles for loss, and then 4 sacks. The defense did everything they possibly could have until it was essentially a 3-score game, and we basically kept the ball in front of us. They gained a lot of yards in that fourth quarter, but that was fundamentally we can't give up the big play, and they got yards because, well, we're going to let them kill off the clock if they want to kill off the clock.
Just like with Detroit, and it was extremely effective. Just, let them run out the clock, get some garbage yards, but the game was won basically before the fourth quarter started for the second week in a row.
And this is another one of those examples with the defense that everything starts up front, that you need that pressure. You need that great rush. Look back 30 years to this Packers team. The best thing about it was that elite pass rush with Reggie White and Sean Jones and Santana Dotson when he came in and Gilbert Brown. And what did those guys do? They made defensive backs like Craig Newsome and Doug Evans better. They made the job easier in that defensive backfield, and that's exactly what happened on Thursday night. Keyshawn Nixon, he got a lot of jeering during the offseason for declaring he was going to be cornerback one, CB1. There was a lot of speculation. Can he handle that role? And how is this defense going to do losing Jair? They don't draft an elite corner, a top corner in the draft. They don't go after one in the free agency. They get Nate Hobbs, but he's not that elite level they're looking for. The point being, if you've got it all working up front, we could play defensive back. I mean, it's that, well, okay, Neil, maybe not you, maybe I could, but it's just that logical.
John, they are really good athletes, and
they are very good
these
athletes.
people would get
let's
away
not
from
sell
us.
them short. No,
but at a fundamental level, like go back to what Jaden Daniels did. Jaden Daniels had 88 passing yards in the first 3 quarters. The entire offense of the Commanders had 112 yards in the first 3 quarters. Those final numbers don't look quite as terrible, but that's just because we're allowing them to get anything underneath. 112 yards of offense in 3 quarters for the Commanders. That is as dominating as you're going to be. This was a top 5 offense last year for the Commanders, and we made them look like they were the Chicago Bears or the Cleveland Browns.
And for the second week in a row, when the passes are dumped off, the linebackers are flying to those receivers. They are not getting any space. They're sure tackling, and they arrive with bad intentions, as Kirk Herbstreit said.
Well, the swarming to the ball is very evident. They move like an amoeba. When you see that ball and everybody moves together to get to that ball, it's very impressive watching from a higher level.
Because their eyes are looking in the backfield. They're not turning around. They're not chasing the wide receivers. They're keeping everything in front of them, and they're fast enough to react, or they're reacting in such a way where there's no place else to go once the ball gets advanced, even just a little bit.
And as great as it looked, it's not a perfect game either. Now, we keep talking about Jordan Love. We talk about Tech Haraf. Our passing offense is doing really well. Neil, the running game is leaving a little bit to be desired, yet we need Josh Jacobs to start picking up here.
And we also need to not be so predictable, right? That whole first half was predicated on Jordan Love being amazing, but we had Josh Jacobs on first down in his first 6 first down runs for Josh Jacobs, 4 yards, 1 yard, 4 yards, 1, 3, and -1. Right, Josh Jacobs over the entire game only averaged 3.7 yards per attempt, but there were so many times that he was on first down and not getting us that far, just as in the Detroit game. And essentially Jordan Love had to just say, fuck it, I'm going to fling it downfield. I'm going to throw it to whoever, and they're going to make the catches, and we're going to score. And that was the brilliance of the game, is that we overcame situations such that on second down, third down, we didn't always have second and third and short. It was, we had to make yards up, and Jordan Love and the receivers made the plays that allowed us to make up those gaps.
Neil, do you think part of the reason is blocking up front, where this line hasn't played that much together? There's some injuries. I mean, is that a big factor here?
It's not just some injuries. It's a lot of injuries, right? I mean, we played without Zach Tom. And fundamentally, we've got Banks, who's sort of been in and out, and we're definitely going with a patchwork line, but that seems to be working on the pass rush, or working against their pass rushers. But yeah, right now we are not doing anything except, again, I will point out Josh Jacobs got a touchdown, 10th game in a row for a touchdown for Josh Jacobs, Packers record. When he gets close, he has that just relentlessness as far as going after and making the plays. It's just that there isn't that room, and we're not making those plays on first down. Maybe when they are anticipating that, well, the Packers love running on first down. They love to establish the run. And so, well, we'll let them try to establish the run and knock them down. But that's definitely a concern. And we've got to be thinking about, we, meaning Matt LaFleur, Adam Stenavich, have to be thinking about, well, how are we going to overcome this predictability? How are we going to not have the run game be a liability in the first half? And it was absolutely a liability in much of the first half.
You mentioned Jacobs does get the touchdown. And I think with Josh Jacobs is he is the type of player that he's not afraid to keep pounding it. And they will, as long as they don't abandon that, they will continue to go with Jacobs. He'll do fine. Where it's evident that the running game is struggling is when Chris Brooks and Emmanuel Wilson are in the game. Still have not seen anything significant from Marshawn Lloyd. We don't know when he'll be around, and that could change things for the running game. But it again starts up front, Jeff, to your point. These guys do a great job pass blocking. They're very good finesse pass blockers. It's getting them to change gears to be road graders and get a decent push is where it gets a little bit different.
Jeff, I hate to tell you, but you know what our most effective running plays were? Dasavion Williams and Matthew Golden.
I think it was the Jeff
Jeff
sweep, was it not?
Yep.
We had 39 yards total between Williams and Golden in the running game. That was pretty effective.
Here's what concerned me with the offense. There were 4 3-and-outs. So this was sort of a feast or famine offensive game. Either we had these super long 96-yard drive, 92-yard drive, but 4 3-and-outs, that's not going to cut it. And a lot of that was handing the ball off to Jacobs, trying to establish these, and you get an incompletion on third down. And guess what? 3-and-out.
But there was also penalties that played a role as far as that's concerned. And our second 3-and-out, it was a holding penalty on Fitzpatrick that was really the central play, and a sack on our first 3-and-out. So we can't just put this entirely on the running game as far as why we're having 3-and-outs. I think that we recovered essentially from not great first down runs with the passing, and it was mistakes fundamentally that cost us on those 3-and-outs.
But the big differentiator is the mistakes did not cost us the game, because the defense is, I would say, bailing out the offense, but certainly holding up their end of the bargain.
Yeah, both sides held up their end of the bargain. 404 yards to 230 in the game. That's a great offensive game. That's a great defensive game. We've got to give credit to both the offense and the defense.
And as we said, it wasn't a perfect game in all 3 facets of the game. Jeff, you know where we're going with this, your favorite crew. We get a couple of field goals from Brandon McManus, but there's a doink in there as well.
Well, John, it wasn't just a doink. It was a lot of sloppy play. For all the good that we saw in game 1, where all 3 phases were working together, in this game, it was definitely the asshats that, were the asshats this game. Fortunately, it didn't cost us the game, but cost us field position and caused us to put together 2 90-plus yard drives.
Yeah, I mean, we had penalties on Hopper and on Haddon on punts and punt returns. We allowed Debo to have a 50-yard kickoff return. We allowed them to have 24 and 12-yard punt returns. We had a very good advantage for the Detroit game as far as starting field position for Detroit. We basically held them back, and we gave Washington a lot of really good field position in this game, and thankfully that didn't cost us.
And Matthew Golden attempting to field a punt inside the 5-yard line. That's definitely a rookie mistake there, and I'm sure he's been told, hey, put your heels in here, and if it's going over your head, let it go. Just let it go.
Don't effing do that again, is what he's told.
It was ridiculously scary. The forward progress that they gave him on that was extremely generous to put that ball at the 4-yard line.
Well, let's talk about Matthew Golden. So he had 2 targets far downfield. So
No catches,
you're seeing the speed, you're seeing the breakaway, and unfortunately, Love just missed him. But one of these games, hopefully much sooner than later, they're going to connect, and it's going to be awesome.
Jeff, I think what we're seeing here is Jordan Love not getting a lot of time with Matthew Golden in the preseason, and they are going to connect.
On the other side of that coin, though, during the preseason, if you had told me that we're going to start out the season and Jordan Love is going to be overthrowing Matthew Golden downfield more than once, I would have said you're crazy. I feel that Love's arm is stronger this season. He has a much better deep ball than he has in past seasons. Last season specifically, that deep ball tended to float a little bit, and his passes that we've seen him throw 40, 50 yards in the air, they are crisp, they're tight, they turn over. And like I said, he's even overthrowing his fast guys.
But that's what's so great about Love, is that he's throwing the ball downfield. He's not scared, or he's not playing it conservative. And then Malik Heath coming up with that huge, crazy catch. I mean, the good things are going to happen if you're throwing downfield to where only your receivers can catch it. He's going to hook up with Golden, and it's going to be huge. It's going to be great to watch.
Really, the only major downside of that game was losing Jaden Reed on something that should have been a touchdown, if not for an Anthony Belton penalty. But we've got a deep enough receiver core that we're going to survive Jaden Reed being out. But that still is a blow to lose somebody as good as Jaden Reed has been.
And it was a beautiful play to see. It was coming to the corner of the end zone where I was, Neil, and it looked great. And when you look up and see that flag sitting out there on the grass, and then not only the flag, but then the trainers come out to help Reed off the field. It was like, oh gosh, when it rains, it pours.
But we've got a great future ahead of us as far as this season is concerned. We have established ourselves as clearly one of the best teams in the NFL. And after seeing how good Detroit's offense was this week, after how bad Detroit's offense was against us, that is a huge confidence boost for everyone on this team.
And I would even say similarly, the Washington offense in week one, granted they played the Giants, they won 21-6, but how well they played in week one and how well this defense shut them down as well outside of garbage time. So this defense, they're strutting. They are the peacocks out there with the struts.
Well, especially in the NFC North, because we did watch that Detroit Bear game, at least part of it, and managed to try to stomach that. And then the Sunday night game, the Viking game. I mean, this is a team that have some issues. So you've got two teams in the NFC North, the Packers and Detroit. So we have a half game lead by beating them head to head already. You see sort of a separation after 2 weeks already here.
Again, that final score, 27-18. The Packers are 2-0 on the season. They are handling their assignments really well. Well, it was this Packer crowd. They were told to wear white. They understood the assignment. They showed up in white. It's a gold package game. It's a Thursday night. Impressively, this crowd was on time. They were there ready to go for team introductions. They tailgated really well on Thursday night. What was interesting about this one, Neil, watching the secondary market, there were a lot of people looking to sell their tickets, presumably not wanting to make the drive up from Milwaukee being the gold package. Those ticket prices nicely hovering around face value, but by all account, it's locals that are buying those tickets. It's people who live close enough. They're taking advantage. And to your point that you've made on this, Neil, if you're going to complain about the gold package and things like that, then buy the ticket. Don't let the visiting team buy the ticket. And that's exactly what happened. Washington, I can't say they had near as many fans as Detroit did. There were a few. They were great to talk to. They appreciated the hospitality that we got, but that's what we like to show them, right, at tailgating. And again, to your point, Neil, this crowd turned out.
So, John, do you think this is the Micah Parsons effect
A little
happening
bit, probably.
here?
Yeah.
I mean, why?
I mean, but again, is it really a Micah Parsons, or is it, holy shit, we might actually have a team that is at a different level? I think there's just this anticipation, and Parsons added to that. But the performance overall against Detroit, I think, is really what said it, right?
Hey, everybody loves a winner, right? And yes, there is a bandwagon in Green Bay. And as far as I'm concerned, you are all welcome to jump on it. I love Packer fans. And if you're a brand new Packer fan because the team is playing well, that's fine. Come on out and have a good time and get the Lambeau experience. That's what we're all about. And we like the visiting fans that come to the tailgate party. And 4 years ago, a group of fans came from Cleveland and they were spectacular. And I said, man, we should go to Cleveland because these people are really nice. And I want to see that stadium on the lake. Unfortunately, we're not going to make it this weekend. It's not the GBC podcast road trip, but that doesn't mean the Packers aren't going to go there. They're going to take their first road trip. They are going to Cleveland. They're going to play the Browns. The Packers hold a 14-7 series lead over Cleveland all time. Green Bay has won the last 4 in a row over Cleveland. And unfortunately, the Browns are as hapless as they typically are. Neil, looks like it could be a good Sunday.
It looks like it could be a good Sunday, right? Cleveland is 0-2, losing to both Cincinnati and the Ravens and losing 17-41 against the Ravens. That looks really terrible, except Cleveland does have some strengths. So against the Bengals in week 1, the Bengals only had 11 first downs and only 141 total yards. And then in week 2 against the Ravens scored 41 points, but they only had 46 rushing yards. They only had 242 yards total of offense. I don't even know how you score 41 points with only 242 yards of offense. And then, just like against Cincinnati, the Ravens only had 14 first downs. They're doing a really good job. I watched a little bit of this game on Sunday, and the most impressive part is that the Ravens got the ball down to the 1 yard line, and the Browns held them out. They actually pushed them back 15 yards on that drive. So there is a lot going on for that Cleveland defense. Obviously, Myles Garrett is the big name, and he's a huge disruptor, and we really have to hope that we have Zach Tom back. But they've got a lot of different things going on as far as their defense is concerned that definitely could shut us down, and we've got to be wary of not underestimating this Cleveland team, especially as a game on the road.
Right. Yeah. You don't want this to be a trap game. You don't want to overlook Cleveland because Dallas is the following week. We know a lot of people are marking that Dallas game on the calendar, but Cleveland is up next. We have to pay attention to them. And you're right. Maybe we don't sell Cleveland short because Cincinnati literally has limped to a 2-0 record. They barely get past Cleveland in that first week as well. Cleveland does play well at home. They have the advantage of the dog pound. Again, that stadium right there on the lakefront. Just traveling to downtown Cleveland is such a pleasant experience that I don't understand understand why this city gets a bad rep. I think Buffalo just has a really good PR firm to make people think that Cleveland is the mistake by the lake. But Cleveland, the times that I've been there, was equally as nice.
Yeah, downtown Cleveland is very lovely, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but just sort of the whole downtown area around Cleveland, the baseball stadium. I haven't been to the football stadium, but it's a very lovely downtown area. And guess what? It's been 50 years since Lake Erie was on fire. So I think we've got to get over that viewpoint of what Cleveland is.
So we've said a lot of nice things about Cleveland. One not nice thing about Cleveland, at least their football team, is their offense. I don't think this offense is scaring anybody. So you've got Joe Flacco as their starting quarterback. If I'm Rashawn Gary, if I'm Micah Parsons, I've got to be ecstatic that he's going to be in the backfield, don't you think?
Sure, it's a quarterback who's not mobile, but it's a quarterback who's also experienced. And I will note that the Cleveland rushing game was actually pretty effective against the Ravens. 22 rushes for 115 yards. We would have loved to have that sort of output from our rushing game. They've got players who are capable of making plays, and they seem to just be obsessed with tripping over their own feet. And if they can avoid that, and obviously part of that is what the defense is doing to cause that, they've got parts that can actually do some damage. And we've got to be wary of the fact that, yes, there are different ways. You know, they've got Jerry Jeudy as a very good wide receiver. Now, I'm not really afraid of any of the receivers after that, but they've got pieces that at least make sense. And there's one wild card as far as this game is concerned, which is that, yes, Flacco is obviously not the long-term answer in Cleveland, but Dylan Gabriel did play a few plays in that game against the Ravens, and you know that home crowd is going to be excited, cheering for the appearance of that rookie quarterback if anything goes wrong, and that certainly could also provide a lift to the Cleveland team.
I'm hoping the Packers can come out similar to their first two games. A fast start, and I think if they do start fast, that Cleveland will fade away. Get the defense tired. So Myles Garrett is just one guy. He's great. Yes, he'll be an All-Pro probably again this year. But I think our opportunity here is to start fast, but then establish the running game and just get them tired out. We're 7.5-point favorites on the road. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That says a lot about what the betting public thinks, but I'm going to point out our rushing defense has been really good. The Browns have only allowed 91 rushing yards total in their first two games. Establishing the run is probably not going to be the way to do it. It's going to be the same way we've done in the first two games, with Jordan Love just beating the other team into submission.
And that's what he's been successful at, getting rid of the ball. Even though he's throwing the ball downfield, he hasn't taken a lot of sacks. And I think that moving the ball downfield, maybe Musgrave, this will be his breakout game, or Tucker will get another 100-plus yard game. Not only our receivers, but the tight ends, I think, are going to be huge in this game. They'll get 10, 15 yards downfield and just sit. That's what we've been waiting for. That's the missing piece to put us over the hump on the offense. And let Jordan, throw the ball downfield, and I think we'll have success.
And to that point, Jeff, Jaden Reed is going to be out, right? So now we need receivers to step up. We know Tucker is going to be Tucker, and he's going to play well. And it'd be nice to see Musgrave get some catches as well. But from that receiving core, we need Matthew Golden to do better than 2 targets and no catches. Between Dobbs and Wicks, we know both of them are capable. Which one is going to stand out? Which one is going to lead this team? And Malik Heath needs to start playing like he plays in the preseason when he plays himself onto the squad. Now let's be a little bit stronger out there. And boy, can we just even call him the Wildcat, Savion Williams, because he's run the jet sweep. He's jumped into the Wildcat in the background. We know that he's got speed. We know he's an all-around weapon. I look forward to them finding more ways to utilize Savion Williams.
It's going to be an exciting game to see what are the wrinkles that we use to attack their defense. They clearly have a defense that's got potential, and this is part of the thing, right? Last year, we had some complaints about how we attacked the opposing defense, how the offense sometimes didn't put all the parts together. Now I think we're going to see those parts come together like we saw in weeks 1 and 2.
Neil, at the top, you talked about how we were concerned about the Packers not starting fast, and I'll admit the we was me,
No, it was all of us, John. You just vocalized what we're all concerned about.
I am very ecstatic that this team is 2-0 instead of 0-2, because I really didn't think that the season was going to start off that great, and they have proved me wrong on every facet of the game. Their ability to score early, score well, score often, and play some strong defense. This team is playing together. They're playing tight, and I'm looking forward to another great game on Sunday. Hey, for us, it's a noon game on Sunday, which is the way we like it. as the Packers travel to Cleveland. It looks like a great game, and I think all three of us, we did pick this one as a win for Sunday. Go Pack, go.
John, this is the first road game of the year. I'm hoping that all of the excitement that they had in the first two home games, the team takes that with them on the road to Cleveland. I'm hoping there's a lot of Packer fans that make it to Cleveland. We know there's going to be a few that I know that are going. I want to see this team succeed, and I think this is going to be a great test, not a letdown game. I want to see them start fast, come in, punch them in the mouth, say, okay, we are the better team than you are. We're going to start fast. We're going to score a bunch of points and then let our defense and our running game clean this up. I'm looking for a big win in Cleveland. Go Pack, go.
When you look at the Packers against the Cleveland Browns, you think, well, it's an NFC, AFC game. There's not a lot of history between these teams. But remember that Cleveland was one of the powerhouses of the NFL in the 1950s and 1960s. And there's a really critical game between the Packers and Browns in the 1965 NFL championship game. The 1964 Cleveland Browns were the NFL champions. So Lombardi, in order to get back to that championship level, needed to overcome the defending NFL champion. And that 1965 NFL championship game was at Lambeau, a 23-12 victory in which the Packers defense held Jim Brown to 50 yards rushing in that game. Meanwhile, Paul Hornung and Jim Taylor combined for 201 yards of rushing. That was the Packers' return to dominance. That's also the last time that Cleveland won a championship. And I think we should embrace the history of the Packers and the Browns as two of the great NFL franchises. And I am hoping that on Sunday, some of that comes out in the broadcast and there are some callbacks to the history between these two teams. I'm looking forward to the Packers establishing a new history and really having a great game on Sunday. Go Pack, go.
And please, for fans, players, everyone, don't overlook this game because Dallas is the following week. One game at a time. Let's get to Cleveland and let's play some football. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit subscribe and leave a comment. Find the GBC podcast at Green Bay Chat, all one word, on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Blue Sky, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. On Facebook, it's the GBC podcast Green Bay Chat, and you can follow us on any and all of those social media platforms. And may you fully appreciate the magnitude of your impending good fortune. Thanks for joining us.
Go Pack, go.
Good night.